Okay, we're up to Daf Zayin, the Mishnah on Daf Zayin Amid Aleph. So, what would they do for the Sotah? Molicha lebezdin shebo samakom. They would bring her to the bezdin in her city. In other words, and there you would have the chayre, the edis of the kinui and the stira. That again, according to Rabbi Yeshua, you had two edim on both. According to Rabbi Eliezer, two edim on the kinui, one edim on the stira. Right. So that was done in their city. Now, once you ascertained that she is a suffix Sotah, because in fact there'd been kinoi, and there was stira, right now she's asked to live with her husband. Okay, this guy's the chiddush of Sotah. You know, she's not guilty yet, but right now she's asked to live with her husband. That's the result. Good. As a result of this, she's asked to live with her husband. Now, what do they do at this point in time? Accompanying the husband and her up to the Lishkas Hagazis in the Beis Hamikdash, which is the next Mishnah. Two Talmidei Chacham would accompany him. Why? Because you're worried maybe he might have relations with her on the way. And as we said, yesterday, if he does, that would stop him from drinking. That would stop him from drinking. Now, fellas, if she doesn't drink, he can never live with her again. Fellas, if she doesn't drink, he can't live with her again. In other words, if this husband has relations with his wife and she doesn't drink, she can't drink anymore. Once she can't drink, she's asked to her husband forever. Clear? Yeah. So in order to make sure that doesn't happen, you'd have two Talmidei Chachamim, and the Gemara is going to ask why Talmidei Chachamim accompanying him and her on the way. Rabbi Yehuda says, the Baal will be believed. Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that the Baal would be believed, and therefore it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary for people to accompany. Okay, the Gemara is going to say a reason why. It says the Gemara, Trei v'ihu, you have two people and the husband. Hatilsa, that's three. Lema Messiah Leila Rav. Let's say this is a raya to Rav le'inyan hilchas yichud. The Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav leishanu. We did not learn that two men with one woman is not yichud ela be'ir. Avol b'derech. If you're on the way, two is not enough. Adika shleisha, because you would need three. Why? If you only have two, shemi yitztarech echad mehem l'nekava. One would have to go to the bathroom. And when that one goes to the bathroom, that echad mehem is yachid in me'erva. That one is going to be miyachid with her. So l'chayra, this we can ascertain from this din in Sotah, a din that in Hilchas Yichud, that two men and a woman is not Yichud. That's provided it's in the city where they'll be consistent. Mashen came b'derech, you need three because you'd have two. One might have to go to the bathroom, and you'd leave left with one, which would be Yichud. Says the Gemara, loy, you have no raya. Maybe the reason you need three, the time that you need three has nothing to do with Yichud, but kehechid lahabi Allah sadeh. In order that there should be witnesses. In fact, if he does live with her, and you have witnesses that you won't be able to drink. Okay. Where they're going up to the Beis Nagadol in Yerushalayim. So you would have these two people would testify that the husband was with her, and thus you should not go ahead and drink. Now, why Talmidei Chachamim in Kulyam Maloi? Lema Messiah leidich to Rav. Let's say let's go ahead and make a diak for another din of Rav. Dama Rav, Yehuda Amar Rav, Leishanu, we did not learn. Leishanu, we did not learn. El Ksherin. When do we say the din of two people is not yichud is only if they're kosher to gagayis? Avol prutzim, but if there goes to a low lives, afilu asarinami is yichud, right? Loy. That a woman can't be with 10 men who are low lives. In fact, there was an incident where 10 people took out, 10 people, but they took out a woman b'mita, making believe she was dead, and they ended up doing actus nus. So says the Gemara law, you have no raya to this either. In other words, you want to make a diak. Talmidei Chachamim. We want to go ahead and learn on a din of yichud. That when do we say that it's a two is not yichud? That's only Talmidei Chachamim, right? But prutzim would be yichud too. Says they have no raya. The fact that Talmidei Chacham by Sotah here is not a din of yichud it's a din that in giving him to drink, we warn him, listen, if you're going to go ahead and be with her, she won't be able to drink, it'll be us forever. So you need Talmidei Chachamim to be able to give the Papa Hasra. So it's not a din of Yichud, it's an Hasra. So again, we want to go ahead from this Gemara and ascertain two dinim in Rav's din of Yichud. The fact that it's 3 and not 2, the fact that it's 3 and not 2, we wanted to say is that after ear 2 is not Yichud, but under Derech you need 3 to stop someone from going to the bathroom and you'll be left with 1. No, the reason you need 3 is these two people are going to be made that the husband, if the husband is fact with her. The Gemara wants to be medayik then, not the number, but the constituency of the people, that they're Talmidei Chachamim. Mashma, that if they're not Talmidei Chachamim, if they're prutzim, even more than 2 would be Yichud. And that, no, Talmidei Chachamim is a din that give him Asra, that if he's with her, she's not going to be able to drink. So you have no riot to din of Yichud, according to this Gemara. If you I'm a Baal them, the Baal will be love. You know, she doesn't need 2 people, the Baal will be believed. Anya Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Baal and Nema Mikal V'chaymer. A Baal is Nema that he's not going to be with his wife to Sotah from a Kal V'chaymer. Uman Nida, a husband, when he has a wife's a Nida. She Bekaris, he's with his wife, it's in his Bekaris. Baal and Nema Aleha to sleep next to, in the same room with her, despite the fact that it's Bekaris. Sotah she Belav. A Sotah which is just a lav, like Kol Shekain, that he should be believed. And therefore you don't need him to accompany, he can go alone. That's the Kal V'chaymer of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbanan says, that's exactly the reason why he's not believed. Neither the Karis Chamirale, neither since it's in the Karis, it's Mohammed to him, and therefore we don't have to worry about him being over the Issar. The hymna, Sotah, the lav, like Chamirale, Sotah, which is a lav, it's not so Chamer, like V'loy Mehimna. Therefore, what? He won't be believed. Because again, he'll say it's only a lav. Read the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Mikal V'chaymer, Ma'asila. Rabbi Yehuda brings the Kal V'chaymer. I v'ho Rabbi Yehuda Mikroi Ma'asila. Rabbi Yehuda is going to bring it from a pasuk. There is that the husbands believed has nothing to do with the Kal V'chaymer. It's Gzeres HaKasav. The Tanya. It says the Havia Isesh Ishtay Ela Kayin. It says in the Pasha Sotah, and the man will bring his wife his wife to the Kayin. Min HaTorah Ha'ish maybe as Ishtay. Min HaTorah it's a what? Min HaTorah he alone can bring. Min HaTorah he alone can bring. Avalom Chachamim, the Chachamim say, Moisen L'shnei Talmidei Chachamim, Shem Yavei Lo B'derech. Right, that's the Tanakama. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Baila Neman Aleha Mikal V'chaymer. Uman neither she bekaris Baila Neman Aleha, Sotah she belav like Kol Shekain. In other words, Rabbi Yossi is Rabbi Yehuda's Kal V'chaymer. Rabbi Yossi is Rabbi Yehuda's Kal V'chaymer, but Rabbi Yehuda is going to say a pasuk now. Amuloi, they told Rabbi Yossi, Lo Yamam B'nida Shekain Yesh Leheta, Hayim V'Sotah Shein Leheta. In other words, the reason why he's believing in Nida is because eventually it'll be Mutta. Mashen came with Sotah, he may not get another chance, because if she's guilty, right, she's going to blow up. So therefore, maybe, they told him, Mayim Genuvim Yutako, he's not believed. Why? Because Mayim Genuvim Yutako, by Anisha, Nida that he could have is one thing, but Mayim Genuvim is Yutako, and therefore what? Therefore, since it's Asa, look at Rashi, Genuvim, Klima, Davar Asala Yitzroy Roidev Achrav. Something that the Yetzer Hara is so powerful, something that the Yetzer Hara, right, is Yetzer Hara is so powerful. It says, right? So therefore, by Sotah, since the Yetzer Hara is very powerful, right, he's not believed. That's what they want to tie now. So again, Rabbi Yossi has the Kal V'chaymer. The Chacham say that the Kal V'chaymer is not a Kal V'chaymer, since the Sotah is Mayim Genuvim, and now comes along Rabbi Yehuda Omer Min HaTorah. The Ish maybe as Ishtay Ela Kayin Shenemar the Hevi Ish as Ishtay. So you have a kasha. Initially, Rabbi Yehuda said it's the Kal V'chaymer. What's the Kal V'chaymer? Madach nis the chorus you believe, certainly a salavi you believe. Reading more Akasha, you see Rabbi Yehuda is bringing a pasuk. He's not bringing a Kal V'chaymer, he's bringing a pasuk. So says the Gemara, and for the Gemara, initially Amalu Kal V'chaymer Bereisha Uperchua. They went ahead and they asked, right? They asked Madach what that goof is the reason. Since Nida's Mochama, he's not going to be with her. Mashen came a lav, which is Mochama, he might be with her. So once they asked that Kal V'chaymer, V'hadamalu Kra, right? And Rabbi Yehuda, then why he said a pasuk. Okay, so now, guys, it seems to be Rabbi Yehuda is the same as the Tanakama. If you look back, the Tanya, behavi ishtay lekayin min haTorah ha'ish maybe as ishtay, right? Min haTorah, he alone can go. Avalon chachamim, they gave to me the chachamim. Good. So the Tanakama brought a pasuk, and Rabbi Yehuda is bringing the same pasuk. So Fredig Marakasha, Rabbi Yehuda Hainu Tanakama, they're saying the same shita. And the Gemara Ikminayu Aval Omru. The Tanakama added that in addition, the fact that he alone's enough, but the Chachamim went ahead and attacking to send two Talmidei Chachamim with him. Rabbi Yehuda never mentioned sending people to accompany him. Therefore, Rabbi Yehuda, he alone can bring. So both the Tanakama and Rabbi Yehuda are bringing the pasuk behavi yishishtoi that a man can go ahead and bring his wife. Too, right? Very good. However, the Tanakama is added Aval Omru, you add on two people to accompany. Rabbi Yehuda never mentioned that. So now the Gemara is going to go through the Mishnah. It's going to go through the Sotah, the protocol of the Sotah. They would bring her up to the Bezdin Hagadol Yerushalayim, and they would scare her. Just like they would scare Idei Nefashis. They would tell you in Nefashis, do you realize you're going to kill somebody? How chashav nefesh is that nefesh achas b'Yisrael, you're going to kill somebody. And they would go ahead and go ahead and scare her, because again, you don't want to erase the parsha of Sotah. You're erasing Hashem's name. You know what? Don't feel bad. Sometimes people drink too much wine, and this can happen. Sometimes people are too frivolous, too a little wild. Many people are immature, like children. People are influenced by the surroundings. In other words, don't feel bad to admit it. You're a human being with fallacies, and therefore we understand that. But we're doing all this. Why? Because we don't want to go ahead and raise the shame. So, if you look at the Bach, al tasi l'shmoi hagadol. Do not go ahead and do for shmoi hagadol. Shenichta b'kedusha sheyamacha al hamayim. They would say in front of her things she'ena kedai l'shayman. That is not kedai for her to hear. V'chol mishpacha is space of via. In other words, we're going to see them bringing psukim and bringing Maisa Kaviyachol, comparing her to Yehuda and Ruvain. It's not something kedai to compare it to tzaddikim, but as we're going to see, both Yehuda and Ruvain were moida when they did something wrong. So too, you should be moida when what you did something wrong. Imam Tameani, if she says she's Tameya, Shayveris Ksubasa, she goes ahead and we break her ksuba, meaning we write a shayver on a ksuba. We're going to see a machlokas in the Gemara. This is speaking in a place where they didn't write a ksuba. So how did you collect it? You collected with a get. So she collected with a get. What's the stop of using the get again? You would write a receipt to the husband that he paid up the ksuba. So here, shayveres, she writes meaning she writes a shayver on ksuba that she said to Meyani, she's not going to collect the ksuba. The yoitza, the moment to hayrani, but if she still stays strong and says I'm tahar, then ma'ilon asol l'shar hamizrach. You're going to go ahead and bring her up to the east gate. You're going to bring her up what to the shar mizrach, the shar niknar, to shar niknar. Right? Remember a picture of the Beis Hamikdash. You go through the Ezras Nashim, and then you have shar niknar, which is the entranceway into what into the Azara. Okay, shar niknar, fellas, did not have the kedushas of Azara, because the Mechusa Kippurim is not allowed into the Azara. So therefore, Mitzayra, or Yoledes, or Zov, people in Mechusa Kippurim who had Puma, B'Yaitza from their bodies were not allowed in. But they had to be Lifnei Hashem. The Pasuk says, by some of them Lifnei Hashem, and also they should be there B'Shas the Korban. So this area was didn't have Kedushas Azara, but nonetheless, the Mitzayra would stand there and stick their thumbs in their right foot in the ear to get the shemen and the blood of the asham of the Mitzayra on their various body parts. Okay, so this is the area we're discussing now. So they bring Shar Niknar, Shesham by the Shar Niknar, Mashkenes HaSaitis. That's the place where the Saita would drink. Umitarines HaYoldos. That's the place where the Yoledas would bring her karbonis. They would, she would come there, not that she would go in there. Umitarines HaMitzrayim, and that's the place they would be mitar the Mitzrayim, the people who were what? Who were Mitzrayim, they would go ahead and go there. The Kohen then he would grasp onto her garment, and im nikru, if it ripped, nikru, the nifru, if it ripped, it shredded, nifru. Till they go ahead and they revealed her chest. They want to go ahead and embarrass this woman very much. The soy says Sa'ara, they would undo her hair. So here she is standing in this unkept state and semi chest bare. And this is all to go ahead and make her realize the severity of what she did, that she either should it should be get her to admit, and B, not do this in the first place, right? That this is a tremendous publicity. It's going to publicize for what? For other women, that they should not go ahead and be involved in such behavior. If a chest was nice, they didn't reveal it. She had nice sarana. Now the question is, if this is part of the protocol of Sotah, how could you stop it? So if you look at Tosfos, guys, look at Tosfos on Daf Chesam and Aleph. Oh, there's a little Tosfos over here. Im hoya liba na'a, afagav the gezeres hakasa, who you should do this. So how could Rabbi Yehuda say not to? It says sheval tase lav ma'akahu, by going ahead and not doing something, you're not being oikadaf min haTorah. Therefore, the Chacham could say, don't blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos. Therefore, and don't go ahead and take a lulav on Shabbos, because sheval taisa, you had the koyach to go ahead and be oiker. Now, who would go ahead and grab onto this garment? Look at the Tosfos before. The Chazan, the Gabbai, oiches bebigadav, v'nir mirshim dechsiv boy, v'nikla mitzvah l'navla. It's a mitzvah to go ahead and be menavel her to make her unkept. B'tosefta. Kahana matilim goyralois. The kahana they have a goyrol. V'chol mi sheyala goyroloi afilu koyin gadol yoytzev oimi b'tzat soita v'oiches bebigdeha. That there was a goyrol. The koyin would go ahead and hold on to this when they would rip the garment. So very interesting. Now this is very okay, but we'll see a little bit. Weiter. Now this is out of order, because after they ripped the clothing, they didn't make a change clothing, so it's out of order. Is Levanim, should be wearing white clothing. You put on black clothing. So this takes place before the actual ripping. If she had on the base, if she had ornaments on her, the katliyos are some kind of choker, nizamim, nose rings, taboyas rings, menu. We go ahead and take off the jewelry, kedela navla. The achakach afterwards, maybe chavile mitzri, they would bring a mitzri rope, the kosher l'maylim deha, and they would go ahead and tie it above her chest, because again, you don't want her garment falling down more. Anyone who wants to come see would see. Her avodim and the shvachos, they would not come to see. She would be want not to go ahead and admit the truth in front of them, because she holds herself higher than them, and therefore she want to show that her fallacy that she acted incorrectly. So therefore we don't bring them there, because again we wanted to admit the truth. And the pasuk says, it says, and all the women will be warned that they shouldn't go ahead and do like your behavior. You shouldn't do like your behavior. Okay, that's the mission of the protocol, right? That's the protocol that would come up there. Now, where's the kasha? Minani mili. How do you know? How do you know what? Rashi says, Minani mili, the boy bezin agadol. The heed of Yerushalayim being in lashkoy. So good, you have to go ahead and bring up to Yerushalayim. Kidechsiv v'hemen akoyin eseish lefnei Hashem. Avol bezin agadol the hainu shivim biyachad. Minolan. How do you know that you need the biggest bezdin? The loy niskashuba. Maybe it's kaisha. The echad mishnei batei dinim. Shahayu sham. They were in the Azori. There were two batei dinim of 23. Shalesim v'shleisha. Echad yoshev al pesach harabayis. Echad yoshev al pesach hazara. So Fred Rashi nems on that you need a bezdin. Rashi nems on that you need a bezdin. His question is, why do you need a bezdin agadol? In other words, I know you got to be in Yerushalayim, but in Yerushalayim proper, even in the Beis Hamikdash proper, there were two batei dinim of that could go ahead and judge capital punishment, each one of 23. So why do you have to go to bring a bezdin agadol in Yerushalayim? Why wasn't enough the other ones? In fact, why do you need bezdin at all? If you look at the parsha, it doesn't say anything about bezdin. Now let's figure, guys. What do? How do you know there was kinis stira? That was the Mishnah the first Mishnah we did, right, guys? The first Mishnah. Kate said, they would bring into the Bezdin Makam in that place, and that Bezdin would go ahead and they would ascertain the kina v'stira. Now you're bringing to another Bezdin for what purpose? What purpose are you bringing to this Bezdin? It's a kasha, right? This is a sefer. I use the sefer Shirei Yom. It's a sefer called Minchas Sotah. Yes, son Rashi. Rashi's naming on clearly that you need a Bezdin. He says, how do you know? Rashi says, how do you know you need a Bezdin Agadol? Maybe Bezdin 23. But Rashi nems on as a Dova Pashit, you need the Bezdin at 23. Frag the Sefer Minchas Sotah, how do you know you need a Bezdin at all? They went to Bezdin. You got your Kino, you got your Stira. What's Bezdin Paskening, guys, right? Where's the Psak over here? Is there a Kabbalah's Eidus over here? You hear the Kasha, guys? Yes, no, maybe? You hear the Kasha? Dove, you hear the Kasha? Black Ari, you hear the kasha. Yeah. You hear the kasha. Like what's going on over here? Why do you need a Bezdin at all? So he wants to say that l'chayra, you need the Bezdin hagadol to be makabel the edus of the previous Bezdin. Shamna kvar hoya kabbalas edus Bezdin. Avat sarach gam kan kabbalas edus sheyikablu that what in that other Bezdin there was kina v'stira. That's what he seems to say. Now, if you look at Tosfos, Malahalam Bezdin shall shivim be'achad kasha. Kivin yalfina misakin mamre. You're going to learn it out from Zakin Mamre. Islachalamein Gabe Sotah Shamakam Goira. Okay, that the place causes Kamo Gabe Zakin Mamre. Okay, this is a different kasha, but from this kasha we're going to be able to ask another kasha. Zakin. I'm jumping ahead. Let's go. Let's see the Gemara now. Menani Mili. I'm Rabbi about Abba. Gam the Rabbi Yosef B'Chanina. Asya Torah. Ksiv Hacha Vasla Koyin Eskola Torah. Ksiv Hasam. It says by the Zakin Mamre. Al Piyat Torah She Yerucha. Malahalan Shivim V'Yachad. Avkan Shivim V'Yachad. There's a portion of the Torah of Zakin Mamre where Bezdin Hagadol in Yerushalayim gives a psak. He goes and he goes against their psak. If they're in another spot, there's no pasha of Zakin Mamre. If they're in another spot, there's no pasha of Zakin Mamre. So just like it says Torah over there, and that's speaking about Nilishkas Hagosis, that's where the 71 are. So too, the Torah by the Nazir is also 71. So that's Gzeres HaKosim. So it answers Rashi's question. You want to know why not 23? I have Gzeres Shavuot, Torah. Now, Tosfos is bothered by a kasha. Tosfos is mashma Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai used to go ahead and he would dan Sotahs. 40 years before the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, the Sanhedrin left the Lishkas Hagazis because there was so much murder going on. The Bezdin of 23 can only judge when the 71 are in place. So it was so rampant, they went ahead and they left. So what do you see? Kash like this. Just like Zakin Mamre the 71, so to by Sotah 71. Question: how could Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai have judged Sotahs when what? They were not Bezdin. We know Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai lived at the end of the Churban Bayis Sheni. At the Churban Bayis Sheni, right? Churban Bayis Sheni. He was alive at the time. Already 40 years before the Churban, there was no Lishkas Hagazis anymore. They stopped because of what? Because of murder. Guys, remember we have a Yeshu? How could Yeshu at the time? We had this in Gemara and Sanhedrin, Daf Mem Aleph. Okay, anyway. So he asked like this: how could Yochanan and Zakkai have judged Sotahs? The Bezdin wasn't in place. And just like Zakin Mamre is only when the Bezdin's in place, and Sotah Gufu you're learning out from Zakin Mamre, so also it should only be in place. So look at Tosfos' teretz, guys. Tosfos Malahalam Bezdin. Venira at the end of Bezdin. Venira, the iyum le'choyim ma'akev. The whole purpose of Bezdin was only to go ahead and scare her. There wasn't a Kabbalah say this. It was only to place the fear of God in her, literally. That was the purpose. And that's not ma'akev, meaning even if you don't go through this protocol, you would have the parsha of Sotah, and thus Rabbi Yochanan and Zakkai was able to go ahead and enact Sotah even though the Bezdin wasn't in its place. If you didn't go ahead and scare at all, she still would drink. Even after the gullus from the what? From the Lishkas Hagazis, they still would judge. So like this, Like Tosfos, it's like if you don't need Bezdin, so Menani Mili is light Rashi, guys. Menani Mili 71, maybe 23. Like Tosfos, Menani Mili at all. Since there's no Kabbalah's Eidus, there's only Iyam, like, how do you know you need it? Guys, you good? And it's a nice lumdus over here. You hear the lumdus, the different way to learn Rashi and Tosfos. Light Rashi, I know on what? For sure, you need Bezdin. The question is, why do you need 71 versus 23? Like Tosfos, the kasher is, why do I need Bezdin at all? After all, the whole purpose is there's no Kabbalah's Eidus. That already you did by Slay Makim, the place where what? She was over on the king of Estira. So Mamela over here, the Shaila is the Iya, and that's what. So therefore, what's the answer? It's Kseiv's HaKasim. Kseiv's HaKasim is like a Mamre. Says the Gemara Vaita. And they would go ahead, what? And they would scare her. They would scare her, and then what? In order not to drink. They would scare her in order not to drink. Urimini, I'll ask you a stira. Just like they would scare her not to drink, they would scare her to drink. They would tell her, Biti, if you know for sure that you're tahar, amdi al barayach, keep your stance, v'shasi. Why? It's similar to a dry salve that you leave on a raw wound. If the on raw skin, then it's going to penetrate and go down. Ain't shamaka, ain't moil klum. So too, if you're guilty, it's going to go ahead and do it. But if you're tahar, meaning you don't have a makkah, then you don't have to worry. So l'chari, see, we want her to drink. Says, and the Mishnah says not to drink. Says no, kash, it's not a problem. Kan koidim shenimchuka Megillah, kan la'acha shenimchuka Megillah. Before we erase the shame Hashem, we want to scare her what? Not to drink, because we don't want to erase the shame. However, once the shame has been erased already, and we did the job, then we're going to go ahead what? And scare it into drink. Okay, so we said. So the Mishnah, the protocol, we said that you're going to tell her things that is not roy for her to hear, meaning that she shouldn't be compared to. Who are you talking about? Panrabanan. Which is in the Chumash. Kegoin. Asher chachamim yagidu v'lo chichadu me'abaisam. Wise men say it, and you don't hold back from their fathers. Yehuda haida v'lo bush. Yehuda was Maida v'lo bush. What happened? We all know what happened. We all know what happened with Yehuda. What happened with Yehuda? That he had a son-in-law, he had a daughter-in-law Tamar, and his two sons had died. And as a result of the death, so he didn't want to give the third son Shelah, and therefore she got older. She saw that Malchus is going to come from them. She dresses up as a Kadesha. Yehuda ends up with her. She's being taken out to be burnt. Or Shiloh, why she's being burnt. And Yehuda says, "Suck me many." He saves her. He says, "Suck me many." Whoever she said he had given her as a mashkin, a stick, a ring, and a stick and a ring. She said, "Whoever owns this is the father of the child." And he said, "Suck me many." So he was Maida, and as a result, a great thing happened. Yehuda hoid of like bush mahoy seifai nachol chayil maba. He was like chayil maba. Ruvain hoid of like bush says Vayishka. Ruvain is Bila Pleger Saviv. Ruvain is accused the wad of being with Bila. Gemara in the Vav and Shabbos kol Ruvain chayte and elatoya. He moved the bed of his father, and he was Maida mahoy seifai nachol chayil maba. This is why we tell her. Look what happened as a result of them admitting the truth. Umas chara. What was the schar? Like we said, the schar they was haba. What did they get in this world? To him, lahem levada nasna aretz. To them alone, the was given. Rashi said that. Rashi says that Malchus came from David, and Reuven got first chelik in Eretz Yisrael. And it seems Malchus that the whole Torah that he had a bracha of Mulchama, that Yehuda had a bracha of Mulchama to conquer the land. So that's what it means that they would nachal the land. and the Zohar did not pass between them, meaning the bracha in Birchas Moshe, we have Ruvain, basically Yehuda follows one after the other. It follows one after the other. So now, Bishleim Yehuda Ashkechin, the Oidei Dichsiv, by Yaakov Yosef, and Yosef recognized him by Yoim, and he said, "So it's going to be many." You know, Raisha said, "I." We're on Zion Amid Beis, Avi. El Ruvain, Minolan Oida, Hani Ruvim was Maida. Rav Shumban Achmeni, Rav Yochanan, Rav Yonason. My Dichsiv Yechi Ruvim Al Yamus, B'Zaisla Yehuda. Kol Oisa Shonim Shal Yisrael B'Midbar. All the years that Yisrael was in the Midbar, Hayat Samaiso Shal Yehuda Mil Golan Barin. That all the Abbas, all the Shvatim, not only was Yosef brought up, but all the Shvatim were brought out of Mitzrayim, and each one was buried in their own respective place. However, all the Shvatim, their skeletons remained intact, but Yehuda's was not intact. It was rattling around in his aron. It says, Ad she'amad Moshe ubikesh l'rachman. This is the Yehuda. Moshe said, "This should be to Yehuda." Amlafon Rabban Shloim. Mi garm l'Ruvain shachayda. Who caused Ruvain to go ahead and be Maida? Yehuda, right? Yehuda caused him. He said, guys, the Targum of Yehuda, Ato Yeducha Chicha, you, your brother, mean what? What do you mean, Ato Yeducha Chicha? Yehuda, by you being Maida, Yeducha Chicha, you caused your brother Ruvain to be Maida. They asked the Kasha guys, Ruvain returned to the pit to see what happened to Yosef. Question: where was Ruvain, guys? He was doing tshuva. He was crying. He was shoved betainis, so he wasn't there when they sold him. So you see already that he had been Maida. So, and the mice of Yehuda took place afterwards. So how could you say Yehuda caused Ruvain when we see Ruvain was going ahead and doing tshuva before him? The shot is that he's Maida b'Rabbim afterwards. He privately was before, but publicly that was the result of Yehuda. Now, says Moshe Rabbeinu, look what Yehuda did. He caused him to go ahead and publicly going ahead and admit his guilt. Besides the Yehuda, that he should be rattling around in the cage. Rashi brings the reason why that some look at Rashi at some is called at some is Shal Yehuda. At some is Shal Yehuda Miskalban Ba'arin. At some is called Shvatim Helam Mitzrayim. All the bones, the skeletons of the Shvatim were brought out of Mitzrayim. Husham Yosef. Itchem means I shouldn't, when you bring up your atzamas, bring mine as well. But the bones of all the shvatim, their skeletons were intact. However, Yehuda, Evarim Isparkim, Yehuda, his limbs were displaced, meaning the bones were left out of their sockets. Because he put himself in nidoi. And he said, because he told Yaakov Avinu, he goes, I'll erevenu, I'll go ahead and guarantee his safety, and I'll be not only in this world, but the next world as well. As a result, right here, even though he kept his word, we see from here, the nida of a chacham afilu tonight comes about. So he kept his word, but nonetheless, so it seems that the nidoi causes the bones to be displaced. So I have beautiful Ein Yaakov, guys. Listen to this. This is Ein Yaakov. It says Ein Yaakov, why are the bones displaced? He goes, Shamta, when you put someone in Cherim, it means the Chachamim are angry at you. They're angry at what you did. Thus, you are put in Cherim. How many Gemaras have we had, guys, where someone angered a Chacham, he looked at him and he became a Galat Samais? Right? We have more than once that you look at him, he says, become a Galat Samais, means a pile of bones, that it's not intact. So Mamela, if Nidoi is a result of Chacham being upset at you, and Chacham is upset at you and looks to you, become a Galat Samais, so therefore it would make sense that Yehuda was Galgan, he was floating around, in here. That would be the pshat over here. Miyad Shom Hashem Kol Yehuda. It says that Hashem, you should hear the voice of Yehuda. It says really, right, Mispal. So you see Yehuda himself daven, guys, because Moshe Rabbeinu says Shom Hashem Kol Yehuda. So Yehuda's davening, and Moshe davens that Hashem should listen to his voice. Now, what happened? Oil avireh l'safa, that the limbs they got attached to the sockets. As of yet, he wasn't accepted into the yeshiva Shalmaila because of this nidui. Moshe continues. This sounds familiar. We had a Gemara in Makkas, guys. He should be brought to his nation. However, he was born to the yeshiva Shalmaila. He didn't know what was going on. So Yoda Ravloi said Moshe Rabbeinu, his Yoda Ravloi. So now he knew what was going on, but we weren't passing like him. Okay, so that Moshe Rabbeinu's tefillah. Now Bishleim Yehuda was made why that Tama shouldn't die. Why was Ruvain Maida? But from Rav Sheshis, a person's not supposed to go ahead and say over the Chatoim Barabim. So how could he say that he moved his father's bed? Now he's not supposed to do that. And for the Gemara, the reason why he could do it is he did it for Yaakov Avinu. He did it for Yaakov Avinu that Yaakov should not be chosh the other brothers. That Yaakov should not be chosh the other brothers. So they bring over here from the fact that the Minchas Chinuch and Mitzvah Shin Samach Daled, right? That a person should not go ahead and be moida, say is chatoyim. That's only bein adam, bein adam lemakom. But Averis that bein adam lechavero, a person should go ahead and admit, even publicly. So over here, where Yosef was Keneged Yaakov Avinu, so if that's the case, what's the Gemara's kasha? The whole idea of not public admitting is Averis bein adam lemakom. L'chayre, the Avera of Ruvain was bein adam l'chaveru, his father. Since that was the case, what's the Gemara's kasha? So there's a chakira, Maseifa, avoid is done, is kivud of aim bein adam l'chaveroi or bein adam l'makom. Is kivud of aim bein adam l'chaveroi, bein adam l'makom. Masha from this Gemara, it's bein adam l'makom. The fact that that we're saying that he shouldn't have admitted it, right? He shouldn't have admitted it. So therefore, okay, that's the mashmas over here. The Minchas Chinuch asks, and he means Sarchian, if the whole purpose that he should be choshed the brothers, he didn't have to do it publicly, he could have done it privately. And Ruvain could have gone over to Yaakov and said, listen, I'm the guy. I moved the bed, no one else did. So what's the of publicizing that? Okay, what's the publicizing that? So he means Sarchian. Okay, Bez Hashem, this evening we'll have another share. I don't know what time are people, you think Badika is by 9 o'clock, everyone's finished? Usually by 9 o'clock. I would think 9 o'clock. No? 9 o'clock work for everybody?
I think a little later might help. Depends.
I should call it for 9:30? Oh, listen, I can call it 9:30. It doesn't make a difference. I'm going to say it on Zoom anyway. Okay, I'll call it 9:30. Give everyone a chance. Okay, everyone should have a good day.